Hello and welcome back to What Sam Said. Today's message is entitled, You Can't Go By How It Looks. One of the first things that we do when we see a pair of shoes that we like is that we want to try them on. We want to make sure they fit. We look at them in the mirror and we walk around for a couple of minutes in them just to make sure they're comfortable. Why? Because we have the prior knowledge that what will happen if we don't. I remember my first tuxedo rental. I went in and they took my measurements, and when I went back to get the tuxedo, it was a perfect fit. Well, on my way out, I had a thought, let me get some shoes. I said, can I get those black patent leather shoes that go along with the tuxedo? And so they asked me for my size, and I gave them my size, and they said, would you like to try them on? I'm like, no, they're my size. I'll take them and thank you so much. I said, now this is going to really just take this outfit or this tuxedo to the next level. They're going to think I'm the groom walking in there. Well, I was running behind schedule, so I got there in preparation for the wedding, and I had my tuxedo on, so I changed shoes, and everything was kind of okay at first, but baby, how many of you know just because something looks good does not mean that it's going to fit good? One of the worst experiences that we can have is walking around in a pair of shoes that you have not tried. By the time the ceremony was over, I was tipping around, and when I got to the receptions, the first thing I did was take my shoes off. By the end of the day, I was walking around with my socks on, but it taught me a valuable lesson. I remember my mom saying, Wayne, please make sure when you go look at those shoes, now make sure you try them on. I'm like, yeah, I got it. But how many of you know that an experience will give you a deeper understanding of something other than just the meaning of the pure words? Miles Monroe said, nothing is yours until you understand it. I can give you my information, but it is still not yours. You don't own it yet. Once you test it, once that you see that it works, once you try the shoes on and walk in them yourself, then that becomes yours. Once you know it to become true, that's the meaning of true ownership. Now think back for a moment. You're sitting in a class and you see someone cheat. They got the answer correct, but not the understanding of how to solve the problem if they were presented with it again. You have someone sitting in class, now they look prepared. And you think, wow, they got away with it. As a matter of fact, their scores were higher than mine. But unless it is time for you to walk in the shoes of application of something, you may think that you understand it. You may sit in the classroom and have on the same uniform as everybody else, the khaki pants and the yellow shirt. And the difference is that you found out that that was a counterfeit understanding of the skills and knowledge needed in order to advance to the next level. And lo and behold, you find yourself sitting with the same group of children or students in a class next year. The difference is that you were placed there while others were promoted. You can't go by how it looks. From the naked eye, you can't really tell the difference between someone who is placed or promoted until it's time again to walk in the understanding of what you say that you know. I remember discussing the difference between a student being placed or promoted and trying to get a parent to agree to some plan of support for the fall term when it came. And this was years ago, but I never forgot what she said. She said, Mr. West, I don't care what you call it, placed, promoted, or put. As long as my child gets to the next level, that's all that I care about. And I thought about it. I said, that's how some of us are. We don't care as long as we can look the part. We don't care that we don't meet the minimum requirements for the job. We just want the job as long as we're sitting down, and we think no one will notice the uncomfortableness of our shoes. We look just as good as everyone else until it's time to get up and walk. That's why we have to be careful about who we connect with. You assume everyone around you went through the same process of preparation that you did, and true enlightenment occurs when you need someone to stand in agreement with you. When it comes time for the application of knowledge to be exercised, when it comes time to work out that problem again, that's when you find out that they were placed. You thought they could help you. They got the information, but they didn't get the revelation. Think about the parable of the 10 virgins. 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. The wise took extra oil with them. The foolish did not. when the call came to meet the bridegroom, it says in Matthew 25, verses 8 and 9, and the foolish said to the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are going out. And the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there not be enough for us and you. Now, what were they saying? No, I remember the last time I gave you some of my oil and you never paid me back. See, prior exposure brings about some experience. I've been here before. I can still recall when my favor to you caused a failure for me. What were they saying? No, you're going to wear flip-flops to a construction site, and now you're going to ask me to take off my steel-toe boots. No, this time you're going to have to get it on your own. What Sam said, what people don't know about the you that was sitting in the class in August and the you that is preparing for graduation in May is that your preparation has shifted you to another level. They don't know what you've done in secret. They don't know the sacrifices that you've made. And truth be told, some folks don't care. They just want your oil. They just want your anointing. See, they're sitting back in class again, looking at your paper thinking, work then will work now. However, in the spirit, your answer sheet has elevated one level up. What they see as your number one is really your number two. So they're so busy trying to copy you, they didn't take the time to read the questions, because if they did, they would have realized that they were off. That is what a counterfeit mindset would do. People can be so blinded by the perceived value of something that when the time of authenticity comes, they think they can cheat and ask you for your all and that no one will know. What Sam said, the oil of preparation cannot be shared. There's a saying that when preparation and opportunity meet, there is advancement. There are those who want to use your preparation to launch their elevation, and there is no basis for lift off to occur because they're not prepared. They were placed. What Sam said in closing, guys, be mindful of who you connect with. If not, we will find our times wasting intellectual capacity battling with someone who was placed, someone who does not understand the process, the preparation that will lead to your promotion. Know your value, know your worth. And as Minister Mary D. Thomas said, trust the process. My next book, Always Bring an Extra Pair of Shoes, Preparation for Next Level Leadership, will be released in March 2022. It chronicles my leadership journey and shares lessons learned along the way. Again, thank you for joining me for this episode of What Sam Said. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I always remember, Jesus is Lord.